See how smoothly movement is taking place from one side to another. And today's lesson in English writing skills is all about the smooth movement of ideas, and that is a flow chart. Information transfer from verbal to non-verbal, that is what a flow chart is. You take a passage and make it into a flow chart. Now, flow chart is a diagram that represents a flow of ideas or a process. It is a diagrammatic representation of a step-by-step approach to solving any task. A flow chart shows the steps as boxes of various kinds in some order by connecting these boxes with arrows. Now, this is how an empty flow chart looks. The structure of a flow chart within which you will put your ideas and they are connected by arrows. This is another type of a simple flow chart where you just make your boxes and connect those ideas with arrows. The benefits of a flow chart. Flow chart is easy to read because everything is put in boxes in short. There is improved communication because only the important points from the passage are put into a flow chart. Visual clarity, you can see clearly, every point in a box. More effective than passage reading. A long process is made short in specific steps. And we get a big picture at one glance. I just look at this and I know it's a business plan, an idea. Does it work? Yes, if it works, there is money. If there's no, it doesn't work, then you go back to thinking. So in short, I get the entire picture of what this flowchart wants to tell the reader. How to make a flowchart? So you read your passage. This passage is about rayon, a man-made fiber. It is a redeveloped natural fiber, that is cellulose. Rayon is made by dissolving cellulose in a solution of sodium hydroxide or caustic soda. This cellulose is obtained from shredded wood pulp. The dissolved cellulose is formed into threads by forcing it through a spinneret in a setting bath of dilute sulfuric acid. The threads are drawn from the setting bath. Then they are wound on a reel, washed, dried on a heated roller, and finally wound onto a bobbin. So the entire passage about rayon and how it is made is given to you here. You have to first highlight the things that you feel are important. Like, first of all, it is made by dissolving cellulose. So we take cellulose and put it into a solution of sodium hydroxide. From where do we get cellulose? From shredded wood pulp. So though this line comes here after the first line, we have to put this first. So let's see how these important points now are fitted into a flowchart in logical order. So the process of making rayon is your title. So first is shredded wood pulp. From there we get cellulose. This is dissolved in sodium hydroxide. It is forced through a spinneret in sulfuric acid. Threads are formed. These threads are wound on a reel, washed, dried on a heated roller, and finally wound on a bobbin. A bobbin is something that we roll thread on. So you see, in a short manner with a title, you have made the entire passage into something that is visually appealing. A person would want to read these small little words which tell you the important points of the process of making rayon. One more sample exercise. Now here another process, how to make a cup of tea. So you get your entire paragraph here. You need to read your paragraph. Read it carefully. Highlight the important points. Take a kettle with required quantity of water. Put it on a stove. Boil for a few minutes. Put tea leaves into it. Continue to boil till the water turns reddish. Remove the kettle. Pour into cups through a sieve. And so you pick out your important points and then go on to make your flowchart with your boxes, the arrows, one step logically leading to the other. So the title is Making a Cup of Tea. Take water in a kettle, boil for a few minutes. Then comes your arrow. When boiled, put tea leaves into it. Next step, boil the water till it turns reddish. The next step, pour into cups, add sugar and milk. Okay, you could add ginger and lemon too, optional. Stir and serve. So instead of reading a big passage, I get how to make a cup of tea in logical steps, one underneath the other, joined by arrows. Remember, I cannot use this stir and serve in the second box. It has to follow from the beginning right up to the end in logical order. A practice exercise. Transfer the information from the given paragraph into a flow chart. You have this paragraph. Two raw materials used in the process of making cement are limestone and clay. Limestone is crushed, dried and stored in storage silos. Similarly, clay is washed, crushed and dried in storage basins. The two materials are mixed in the correct proportion and ground in a tube mill and stirred in a correcting basin. It is then stored in a storage tank. From there it is fed into a kiln where it is burnt at a high temperature of 1000 to 1700 degrees Celsius. Here clinkers are formed which are sent to a cooler to be cooled. At this stage, gypsum is added to the clinker and this mixture is powdered. The powdered mixture is the finished product, cement, and it is sent to the storage silos for distribution. So now you read it again, understand it carefully, highlight your important points and then put it into your flow chart. You may need a little more, many more boxes than the previous one making tea because there are many more steps in this process. So pick out your important points. Just don't leave out anything in the middle because you feel that there are too many boxes in your flowchart. All important points have to come one after the other, and there you will have your successfully made your flowchart. Common shapes used in flowchart. These are the different shapes which you can use. Arrow is compulsory.